Sorry for those who are just watching. YouTube sometimes loves to be an absolute pain in the backside. Yeah, so hopefully this will be stable now. So I'm gonna have to do the intro again because honestly, YouTube at times absolutely smashes me to pieces. So look, I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. We're going to do the intro again. Get into this amazing community. We are a fantastic community on this channel. Get in with your banter, get it in with your chats. We absolutely don't mind banter on this channel. We don't mind a little bit of banter as long as it's respectful. Get in there, be respectful to the community, be respectful to me and to yourselves as well. Any disrespect, the banner hammer comes down. We don't like doing it, but we will have to. Also, as well, I'm not a dictator of this chat, so what that basically means is that I do read out your comments. Hence, this is why this show takes so long, is because I do read out your comments. So look, get in there with your comments, get in there with your chat. Apologies for those who were watching before YouTube decided to kick me out. So hopefully now it won't do that. I'm in the car today, so I'm going to do the show. Apologies for not doing the show last night, basically because of Mrs. JB was out, so I couldn't get away, and I have children, so obviously children come first. I can't just leave them to it, as one of them is quite small, so family always comes first, in my opinion, as they absolutely should do. So there's lots to talk about this morning from yesterday. Cuhna being out with an accident. I don't know what all that's about. We've got squad cost ratio that I can go over that as well, and what I think that means for the club. I've seen people go over the top about this. You know, how we're cash kings and how we're going to have suddenly a bunch of cash. It does mean some good stuff, but it's not as good as people think. As I say before, apologies for those of you who joined. YouTube did spaz out a bit, so I need to start again. Also, as well, top four. You know, Liverpool losing yesterday, City getting beat as well. You know, I don't revel in other people's getting defeated. That's not what I'm about. I focus on what this club should do. Hello, mister. Hello, hope you're doing extremely well. So get in there with your comments, get in there with your chat. Let me know about what you think about Cuhna. Let me know about what you think about the squad cost as well. Get in there, look, get in there with your comments. So apologies, I did start a show and then YouTube kicked me out. So there's lots and lots of stuff to talk about. So Cuhna, let's talk about Cuhna first. So Cuhna has sustained a miscellaneous training injury. I don't know what that's about. He was supposed to turn the Manchester lights on Friday. He didn't. So due to an incident in training, so due to an incident there and an accident there. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know whether that puts him out of the game on Monday. At this moment in time, I would assume so that it is. You know, Cuhna has been I think some people have not been happy with Cuhna. I think Cuhna does bring us different attributes to that role. Now, the problem for me here is that, you know, talk of the devil. Hello, JB. Hello. Bam says hi. Hello. I hope you're doing extremely well this morning. So thank you for joining me in the car today. I'm in the car doing my dad stuff. Apologies for not doing a show last night. You know, being a dad and all that stuff. Mrs. JB wasn't there, so I kind of had to pull the show, and she was late. But you know, such as being a dad. What are you doing? I'm sat in a car, mate. I'm waiting for my daughter to finish her club. I mean, she's got 2 hours of a club, so it just means that I do a little Sunday morning show at times from the car. Got a coffee. Look, this is a Sunday morning chat, right? There's lots and lots to pick up, lots and lots to talk about. So, you know, nice and chilled this morning. So Cuhna again. One of my problems now is, look, you know, Cuhna, who knows what this injury is. You know, we've got Mason Mount, who's a walking medical. CR7945 says, "Hey man, hello my friend. Hope you're doing extremely well. Look, get in with your comments. Get in with your comments about yesterday. Let me know what you think about Cuhna. We'll go through the squad cost ratio as well and what I think that means. And Liverpool losing yesterday. Talker Devil says, score prediction for Arsenal and Spurs. Is Cuhna really injured? Since when? So Cuhna, okay, so talks of the devil, what do I think it's going to be? It's really difficult. Arsenal are at home. Arsenal, I believe, still have a load of injuries. I think they have a bunch of injuries. Ikev says, hello, bro. How you going, mate? I'm doing extremely well, my friend. And I hope you are as well. It's a Sunday morning. It's all good. Potentially top four. So it is fantastic. So I think Arsenal win it. I do. But look, yesterday absolutely showed that you don't know, right? I do think Arsenal will win, but you know, if Arsenal draw, if Arsenal lose, you know, all of you who are looking for us to get in a title race, I'm not there. But look, it's a league for somebody to grab by the scruff of the neck and do something with it. So is Cuhna really injured? Since when? So it came out on Friday, I believe it was, in the evening, that Cuhna has sustained a injury. It's Bobby, by the way, JB. I know White Shown talks of the devil. Bobby, legend of the chat. Yeah, it's ever since yesterday. Oh no, it's been this week, hasn't it? That it's changed to at whatever it is instead of people's usernames. YouTube does some weird things. So Cuhna apparently sustained I don't know if it's a freak accident, but he sustained an incident at the training ground. So he pulled out of the Manchester Christmas lights. So he is injured. I don't know if that's a significant injury. So again, as I was saying, you know, Cuhna being out, you know, you've got Mason Mount, who is, look, he can play, but he can't play every game, depending on how Cunha's out. So what that means, it limits our number 10s, and this is what we've all been talking about. Why United absolutely need to strengthen in the January window, because we are going to get injuries. Mason Mount can't. We've got 10 games in a month. There's no way that Mason Mount can play that. There's no way that Casemiro, I don't think, is going to be able to sustain that. Luke Shaw. So if Cuhna is out for a significant amount of time, look, this gives Manu a chance. You know, as of the press conference, Manu hadn't trained, so we're going to see him. You know, Manu's out potentially, so we've got Cuhna out, Mason Mount, maybe he's out, maybe he plays. Manu, so we've got three number 10s out. So, you know, we have to. I think we have to get another player in. Again, there are lots of reports I've seen this morning, and we will go on the PSR thing and the squad cost again, because I think it's important to talk about that. I'll give you a highlighted view as to squad cost and what that means. So look, get in your opinions with Cuhna. Do you think that we can get top four? I want to get your opinions on that as well. So let's go back to the chat. Serious Soccer Fan says United v Everton is a game between Manchester's second biggest club and Liverpool's second biggest club. I like that. Look, banter is welcome on here. We all know that United are England's biggest club, whether people like that or not. We might be an irrelevant club in the past, but we are the biggest club in England. That's a fact. But people don't like that. You can argue right now in terms of relevancy, we are second, but overall we are still the biggest side. And I know people don't like that. It's not look, it's not an arrogance thing, right? I've been the biggest critic of this side for a long time. The reason why I say that we are the biggest, because it's based on fact. It's based on revenue, it's based on size of the club, it's based on all sorts of stuff. So look, whilst I respect people's opinions on the matter, It is fact. Serious Soccer Fan says, I still think that United will finish behind Liverpool this season. And that is your entitled view. Liverpool are struggling. I think they've lost their aura this season. Nobody is scared of them this season. Liverpool, we've got Shesko, who has been criticised, and some people may say fairly so. There are certain things that I do like about him. The jury is out on Shesko, but look, he's only played 11 games. He's injured. Shesko needs time. Now, Liverpool, look, they've spent £500 million on this team. They've got Isaac. And whilst I think Isaac needs time, he ain't got time. He's a proven Premier League striker. And yes, you can argue he's been injured. I'd love to know Liverpool's excuse on Wirtz. As a Bosley, this is his second season. You've got McAllister, you've still got Van Dijk, and you're getting beat by Forest. I mean, as Scott who comes on the channel said, it was a Forest fire yesterday. You got beat at home 3-0. It is unheard of. So, I suspect that unless look, it's so difficult to play yourself into form. This team is not right. Liverpool's team is not right, and I don't think it is sustainable. But look, Liverpool are a quality side. They've got quality players. But I have said it's going to take them time to bed into a squad. The only thing I am going to say is, look, the criticism comes at this club a lot of the time. I don't revel in Liverpool's loss. I don't because all I focus on is this club. But look, it's always nice to finish above the rivals. At the end of the day, we are. But yeah, Liverpool getting beat. City getting beat as well. Let's not forget that. So it gives us an opportunity. Bobby says, second biggest club you'll have in a laugh. How many trophies have United won compared to City? Serious Fan says, regardless of the progress made, United should continue to carry out the mass exodus of players from the previous regimes in the next window. I agree with you, Serious Soccer Fan. I agree with you completely. I do agree. I absolutely agree with that statement. Serious Fan says, can Bruno play what Cuhna did? Yes. Look, it's Shesko's, it's Fernandez's position. It's Fernandez's position, right? The thing is that we are light on midfielders. So if Cuhna can't play, Mainu can't play, Mason Mount can't play, Bruno Fernandes, if Xerxes, is this Xerxes' opportunity? A lot of you want the youth. We've got Lacey, we've got Shea Lacey in the team, Fletcher. Now we're at home. Is this the perfect opportunity for Lacey to come and play? I think Lacey's he's more of a number 10, isn't he? Or is he more of an attacking midfielder? Can Lacey play? Fletcher, I think Fletcher's more of a defensive midfielder type. Is it opportunity for him? Xerxes. So look, we're gonna see this squad. I've been saying this for a long time. We're going to see this squad. We're gonna see what the youth are made of. So I think those of you who are itching to see the youth, I'm of this opinion that I want to see the youth, but we can't rely on the youth. But they're gonna play. Says Fancy United are London's biggest club, and London doesn't equate to England, contrary to popular American stereotype. United are London's biggest team, and London doesn't equate to England. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't quite know there, my friend. Liverpool are a joke, says Bobby. Alfie, legend of the chat, my friend. How long is Cuhna injured? I don't know. I don't know, my friend. It hasn't come out. Well, it looks like we've got a super chat in. YouTuber 4102 says, I really like you. I'm from India, from Chennai, Temal, and my name is, hopefully I don't destroy your name, mate. Gajenda, look, Gajenda, mate, it blows me away. It blows me away when people want to support the channel. And look, mate, I appreciate it more than you will ever know. So thank you so much for putting in a super chat. Gajenda, legend. And thank you, my friend. Thank you for being kind, and thank you for supporting the channel. Absolute legend. So thank you so much. How long is Cuhna injured? I don't know, Alfie. From what I've read, it's a mystery injury sustained at the training ground. Now, they never said it was from a tackle. They never said it was from, he was supposed to turn on the Manchester lights. He didn't. He didn't. So your guess is as good as mine at this point. But I will update you. How long is he injured? I don't know, mate. Is he out of the Everton game on Monday? I would assume at this point, yes. But let's see. Let's see. Bobby says Liverpool are a joke, JB. Bobby, as I say this, right? I don't revel in other people's defeats, right? But, we've got to, we've got to, we've got to acknowledge it. And there's nothing wrong with you guys having a pop at Liverpool. By the way, I present the channel. I'm a level-headed person, but there's nothing. Look, guys, there's nothing wrong getting your opinions about Liverpool. City, what the things. And the next thing that we do is we will talk about top four, and we'll talk about the game, because this is an opportunity, right? Bobby says Van Disney. I love it. YouTuber says hi sir, hello, hope you're doing extremely well. Jake Cox says City fan here after getting bent over by Newcastle. Good luck Reds for today. Hopefully we can hate watch the North London derby together. Look, Jake Cox, welcome my friend. Look, we love rival fans on here, or I do as well. And thank you for being a good person, because we do get a load of not nice banter on here. Look, City yesterday, I saw some of the game. I mean, what was going on there? I mean, you had opportunities. I think Liverpool had their opportunity. City had their opportunities as well. Newcastle did. It's a fascinating league. It's a fascinating league. I think City on their day are fantastic. I think they are playing a different brand of football. We can definitely together watch that London derby. Arsenal, Spurs. Jake. Mate. As I said, I for many reasons, I've got nothing against Arsenal, but if Arsenal get beat as well, it's anyone's league. This year reminds me of the time that Leicester won the league. Yeah, it is fascinating. Fascinating. But look, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate rival fans. Bobby says legend. Love to India. Absolutely. Where are you from, sir? I'm from Essex. Yeah, I'm from the southeast, so that's where I'm from. User MM4 says Everton should be a piece of P for United. They should be. They should be. They absolutely should be a piece of P. But look, I'm not sleeping on them. I know we did our show about how Everton will play. So what we did on here, what we've done so far on here is we've predicted how teams will play against us, right? We've got a member, that Bobby member. Thank you, my friend, for reinstating your membership. Legend, mate. Legend of the chat, Bobby. Just an all-round legend. As all of you are absolute legends, and I really do appreciate you guys a lot. So look, thank you so much, legend of the chat. So let's not sleep in them. We on here we go through the games, right? We go through how each team will play against us, and so far we've predicted how two teams will play. I've already done a show, but I'll give you it again. Everton will play a low block. Everton will be organised. They'll be functional. David Moyes, whatever we think of Moyes, he's a proven Premier League coach. We've already been schooled by Sean Dyche. So Everton will be organised. They'll be difficult to break down. They'll play a low block. They'll get the ball to a Grealish. They'll get the ball to Ndoye. And what they're going to do is I think they're going to try and exploit, as I say, every bloody game between the wing backs and the centre backs. There's always a gap there. I think Ndoye will poses problems. And I think they'll be very direct with their balls, very, very, simple. The pivot, the pivot scares me. Where Everton will have joy is in that pivot. So that's how they're going to play. We struggle with a low block. So that's basically what the game will be. Alfie says, let Bruno where Cuhna plays and unattended in the midfield with Casemiro. He's from England. I certainly am, sir. What is more controversial opinion at this point? United finishing in the top four, England winning the Ashes. As it stands, I think that for me, well, I think England winning the Ashes is probably quite controversial because, England, I'm still of the opinion that United are going to finish around 8th, right? With every game, it can change. Like today is an opportunity for this team to change my mind, right? Not that my mind is important, but it's just my personal opinion. Can we capitalise? Can we capitalise on today? And I'll talk about that as well. I feel that City will win the league. Serious soccer fan. Look, right now, it's anybody's league. It is anybody's league. It's anybody's league. It is. It really is. Absolute legends. You are absolute legends. So, let's go to the chat. So what else have we got in here? Slot trying to change Liverpool system and it's failed, says Bay. Look, Bay, mate, this happened, right? The thing is, Slot has been backed to the hilt, right? Slot has been absolutely backed to the hilt. £500 million, not quite that, because I don't like it when people say our players cost more, right? But he's been backed. I will say that it's going to take time, but look, Ekitike, for example, he needs time. Isak doesn't. Shesko's been absolutely done over by the media. Amarin at the start of the season was destroyed by the media, and correctly so. Particularly after the Grimsby game, I've supported the coach. I hope Liverpool fans support Slot. It'd be very entitled of Liverpool fans if they don't support their club. Look, you've been fantastic for 7 years, right? But you can't be fantastic all of the time. And I think that arrogance comes into it. I think entitlement comes into it as well. At some point, you're going to not play as well. Slot may not be the guy. Maybe his tactics are a big pile of poo, right? You just don't know. But there's something wrong. There's something wrong in that side. I think defensively, I think they're very, very shot. Yesterday, Salah, it's not like Liverpool didn't have their chances, but it's so difficult. It's so hard when you're on a losing streak or a set of results that are not right. This is not the Liverpool channel, but it is interesting. It relates to us on the basis that you've got a squad or a team that spent £500 million pretty much on their team. They bought that, they spent 120 on Isak, and I don't care what anybody says. Isak should be getting into that squad and scoring goals, because that's why there's some players like a Shesko, right, whereby young guy, 22, and there is residual value. So what I mean is, let's just say Shesko isn't isn't the guy, right? In 4 years' time, when the amortization is lower, then you can resell him. Isak, you can't. You know, you when you buy in Isak, you're saying we're going to try and win the league here. We're going to try and win the Champions League here, and he's not doing it. I don't know what's going on. Serious Soccer fan says Cunha's energy and industrious nature would be missed. I do like that comment, my friend. I agree with you. I do agree completely. United. Did you see how England was against Albania? I'm Welsh, right? So I want England to do well, because ultimately my children are English. My wife is English, so I not that I support England, but I do look at England from a non-fan perspective. You know, again, England, 0 goals scored against them. They've got a shout. They've got a shout, I think. Jim says, I am... Oh, Jim. Chatter says you're talking to 6 people. Normally I get about 1,000 views. Look, it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. I am acutely aware right now there is another channel on that's bigger than mine, and people prefer to watch that. Normally, I can talk to between 50 to 60 people. Doesn't matter to me. I will talk to this community. There are people on here like Bobby, Stephanie. Good morning, Stephanie, legend, Welsh legend. I'll talk to one person. We've built this community. I feel I've got an obligation to talk to this community, and I really couldn't care less. If I'm talking to one person, I'm going to do the stream. As a channel, we're still relatively new. We're still relatively young. I fully appreciate that there is another big channel right now that encapsulates all of the viewers. They've been around for a while. I think we do it better. We might be smaller than them, but we are mighty. So look, I really couldn't care less. Haters will always hate. Exactly. YouTubers 4102 says, where are you from and what work do you do? I am in Essex, in southeast of England. What work do I do? I'm a consultant. I'm a finance IT consultant. So that's what I do. I used to be an accountant, and then I moved over to finance IT. I'll answer that in a second. You're doing a great job. Look, Bobby, mate, you're a legend, and thank you, my friend. This community is very, very supportive to me. Very, very opened their mind to the channel amongst all the other channels out there. I fully appreciate it. Andy 87 says, who do you think will win the league and why? That's a great question. Who do I think will win the league? Jesus Christ. I mean, right now it's open. Right now, I think Arsenal will win the league. I do. I think that even though they have injuries, I still believe they've got injuries coming out of their butt. I just think Arsenal are going to have too much. I think in a league whereby this reminds me of the league when Leicester won it. Very, very competitive. I'd love to see a Forest win the league. Then I don't think they can win the league, can they? I think Sunderland, I'd love to see them win the league as well. Brighton are up there. I did write down the table, and we could talk about that as well. I did write down the table. I think Arsenal will win the league because I think they'll be the most consistent. If they start losing as well, this next 10 games is going to be crucial to the Premier League. oh, there's 30 points up for grabs, and whoever comes out of this the best, I think they've given themselves a good chance. Bobby says Arsenal will bottle it. It's interesting. It is, mate. It is such an interesting thing, because I think if Arsenal lose today, you've got Spurs as well. So I think at the moment, so the league is, and you can correct me here because I don't have it to hand. The league at the moment is Arsenal first on 26, isn't it? And then you've got 2 second, not Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. That was a good win. Chelsea are second on 23, I think, something like that. And then you've got Man City. And then you've got, is it Sunderland, Brighton? And then we're down in 10th on 18 points. I mean, Chelsea, 23. Niche Fan says top 4 is impossible if you don't spend big in. Niche Fan, legend of the chat. I think top 4 would be difficult. City on 22 points. We've got Chelsea second, 23. City on 22. Thanks, Bobby, legend. I think top 4. Look, top 4 is not impossible. Palace, of course. How can I forget them? Palace are having a cracking season as well, aren't they? It's very difficult, Niche Fan. Stephanie says, JB, could you see Klopp returning to Liverpool slot, or is it a non-starter? That's a great question, Stephanie. Chat, get involved in Stephanie's question. I think that's a great question. I think that I'll answer Niche Fan first. I think top 4 will be difficult, but the caveat to that is this season is ridiculous. This season is actually ridiculous, right? Can we finish top 4? If this squad stayed fit, got some consistency, there's a chance. Only in this league this season. I don't think we'll finish top 4. I've said that I think we'll finish in and around 8th, because I just think this league is just competitive this year. But Niche Fan, I think you've got a point. Unless, look, we need to spend. We need to spend for a number of reasons. If we're a serious team, and Ineos are a serious team, we need to sign. We need to sign players to get us through. Look, if we want top 4, we need to spend. I do think we do. I think last summer was a step. I think we need to bring forward a signing, maybe 2, but I don't think we will. Stephanie's question, JB, would you see Klopp returning? Yes, I can see a situation where Klopp returns on an interim. I can see Klopp. I don't think Klopp will return for a couple of years. I think Klopp could return in an interim, maybe on a year, maybe until the end of the season. I think it depends, but I can see Klopp coming into this side. I can. I think Liverpool will panic. Liverpool spent close to £500 million. They cannot write this season off. They can't afford to do it. So I think that if they sign some players, I can see them getting some menu. I can see them signing Guehi as well. Do I think Slot is the man? Look, I think with Slot, right? What happened with Slot? I think that Klopp put him in such a good position that when he took over the side, he didn't really have to do much. Right? They were a well organised, well drilled side, and I think they won the league because they were so used to winning under Klopp that Slot was a functional manager, didn't really have to do too much, so they won the league. So it was almost an opposite to when David Moyes came into the side, right? Fergie, they might have won the league, but Fergie left them in a state, and Moyes had to do something, and he couldn't. So I think Slot was in a very, very fortunate position. That was interesting. Now that Slot has had a chance to He can make his own team, play his own way. Liverpool can't function, and Liverpool have not been good the whole season. They've had to have, score 95-minute winners. They've not played well at all. So it's fascinating, but I do think Klopp could start. YouTuber says, "Sir, we are also financial consultants. How are you planning to make money?" Also, we are also financial consultants. Don't know what that means. How are you planning to make money? I don't get what that means, mate. Just give me a I don't know. Sir, we are also financial consultants. How are we planning to make money? I don't know, mate. Wharton price tag is going to be insane. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of Wharton, whilst I do agree that, look, it's not that I'm not a fan. I just think Wharton is very, very specialist, and I think that we don't need specialists. We need all-round play. So look, I like Wharton. I think he's a young lad. I think that I wouldn't be disappointed if we signed him, but I don't think it's as, I don't know. I'd rather belabor that. Many people don't, but I do. And either a Steeler or an Anderson. Wharton will be down on my list, but Bobby says Klopp ain't coming back. Bobby says Klopp's looking for a bigger club. I love it. Stephanie says United's aim must be 70 points. That usually secures fourth spot. Niche fan says Wharton will go to City or PSG. They're the only ones able to afford him. Slot won't get sacked. He'll turn it around. Slot should stay for another 10 years. Isaac is invisible. Amax says hi. Stephanie says Bobby 100%. Slot is the modern day Graham Souness. As Liverpool manager, he ruined them for years. Slot has lost 6 games. I asked how have you planned to make your money. I asked how have you planned to make your money. I'll make money, mate. I'm not going to go into it, but I'll make money. I've worked extremely hard. I own my own home. I'm very, very fortunate. I live in a house where 2 people work. I make money. I'm not rich, but I make money. I pay my bills. I'm not really concerned about money. I'm very, very fortunate. So yeah, all is well and good. Laughing at City and Liverpool, but must be Everton on Monday night. So let's get into that then, right? I want to ask a question, and hopefully people will come into the chat. Look, I've said for quite a while, are you from Free Jensen says, are you from Sheffield? No, I'm not. No, I'm not from Sheffield. I'm from the southeast of England. I'm from Essex. So yeah, I'm not from Sheffield. I can't. I'm not even going to try it. I'm not from Sheffield. So one of the things I wanted to talk about as well this morning, because many of you in the chat say we're going to finish top 4, right? I've been of the opinion that we're going to finish top 8, just purely because of the inconsistency. Do you think that we'll make top 4? And this is what I wanted to put out there, right? Is that we have got an opportunity to get into 4th position. We've had opportunities against Forest, against Spurs. Spurs were crap. We were even worse against Spurs. If we'd have beaten Spurs, we'd have another 2 points. Well, that would put us on 20. And if we win against the Toffees, that would probably not on goal difference, but we would be 2nd or 3rd, right? This is our chance. So look, I'm saying to you guys now to get into the chat. Those of you who are talking top 4, Scott normally comes into the chat. This is our chance. Although we're going to see it. We can't mess this up. As Bobby says, we got to beat Everton or we're no better than City or Liverpool. I agree with you. I agree with you. For those of you who've been on here, and look, I encourage you guys to be as positive as you possibly can, because I think that's what we need. I'm a bit more of a pragmatic style because I just don't believe in these players. I think Bobby's right. I think you're right. For those of you who think we can finish top four, this is it. This is the opportunity. We're at home. This is the opportunity. Are we this team that will keep being presented these chances, which we shouldn't be presented these chances this season? Crystal Palace, they are achieving stuff. They are overachieving by ridiculous amounts. You could say that we are as well, but with the money that we've spent, I think we're overachieving on the basis that we're very lucky. We're given an opportunity to finish fourth or to get fourth. This is it. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. If we put ourselves into fourth position, then we're fourth by right. And if we keep winning games, then we will remain fourth. If we come out and we've got a good run of fixtures, the Crystal Palace one, look, that could go anyway. Palace are fantastic. The time is now. Top four is now. There's no excuses. There can't be. There can't be. Sir Jim says that we can finish fourth. Well, Sir Jim, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see it, mate. If we get fourth, Amarin should be praised. Look, if we get fourth, I will start praising these players. There are players in our squad that I think do more than others, and I think that, look, top four now is on. So Monday night is going to be an interesting one. See, he is. Look, even if I was, who cares? I think my wife and my 3 kids would probably disagree. I think my hairy beard would probably disagree with you, but Stephanie says top 4 is possible, but top 6 is more realistic. However, win all home games and pick up points away and home, you never know. Yeah, I'm still of this opinion that we're finishing about 8th because the inconsistency. But Amarin should be given another year. Traveller Link, I agree with you. I think Amarin should be given another 2 years. If Amarin can do this with these players, imagine what Amarin can do with a proper squad. Imagine if Amarin gets his squad. Imagine what he can do. So, but again, I acknowledge people who are Amarin out still. Doesn't mean because we're currently 10th but could go top 4. It doesn't mean anything. It only means, excuse me, it only means something if we do it. To get 4th could be revolutionary for this team. Finishing 4th in this league, I tell you what, if we finish 4th in this league from where we were last season, that would be phenomenal. Amarin, imagine Amarin finishing 4th with Luke Shaw, who defies science, Maguire, an aging Casemiro, Ahmad playing out of position. Imagine that. I mean, that is unbelievable. And I would say, other than if Palace were to get top 3 or 4 as well, I think that he should be in for the manager of the year. So Let's see. So I also know about finance and IT because I work in the stock market. Good, good, good. I mean, I don't know what that's got to do with I don't know what that's got to do with me. But look, um, yeah, um, Bobby says we could win our next 10 games. If we win our next 10 games, mate, we're up there. If we win our next 10 games, then we're in a title race. Um, that's a fact. That's a fact. If we win 10 games, we're in a title race. I don't prescribe to that. I think we win seven, and I think possibly then we get into the top four. But Bobby, mate, if we win, and Bobby, I love that, mate. I do love that optimism. If we win 10 games, we are mounting a title charge. But I think winning 10 games from here, I think is a bit of a stretch. But look, stranger things have happened. Stephanie says the importance of scoring first going games cannot be underestimated for any team, but we must do better in the second half of games. I agree with you. I've got a theory. I've got a theory as to why we don't. My theory on this is that the reason why we struggle second half is because we become unbalanced. Luke Shaw plays every single game, and then Luke Shaw drops off a cliff. Casemiro can't play more than 60 minutes. So I think that's why, because we have an imbalance in this team. We absolutely have imbalance. And then these players then have to look. Also, some of these players have to overcompensate for the pivot because the pivot is so bad that the front three are knackered. They're absolutely shattered because the extra man isn't there. So I think it's an imbalance in this team. Stephanie says the return of Lucha is going to be interesting to see if he's back to full form and fitness. I agree. Having as many players back will be fantastic. Lucha won't be on form, right? Because he's just not played games. But fully fit Lucha will be fantastic. We cannot underestimate that. The tenacity, the drive. I think Lucha will grab this team by the scruff of the effing neck and be like, you guys have to sort it out. But the caveat to that is, can he come back? The caveat to that is, can he come back and stay fit? So we're going to see. Amex says, in our next 10 games, I think we'll get 21 points. I think 21 points, excuse me, I think 21 points keeps us in the mix. I do. So I think 21 points keeps us in the mix. Keeps us in there for top four, keeps us in there for top 5, 6. So let's hope. What do you think about the stock market? Do you know the stock market? I know everyone in American stock market. I know of the stock market. Yes, I do. And I know you've got the Dow Jones, you've got the FTSE, and all that sort of stuff. I am aware of it. I know how it works. I know people as well. But Lucha will be good to have back. Can see the fella playing as a defensive midfielder as well as the back line. So, interestingly enough about that, Amarin has shot that down. Amarin has said that Lucha is pretty much not going to play in the midfield role. That's not me saying that. That's not me saying that I don't think he can. The manager has said that. So in the press conference on Friday, he basically said, look, he got asked the question. He's basically said no. Doesn't mean he won't. Injuries dictate, but he's basically said that Luke Shaw could go to left wing back and Lucha is not going to be in the midfield. Those are his words and not mine. We could win our next 10 games because none of them are top 5. No City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea or Spurs. We do have Palace, by the way. We do have Palace. We do have Wolves. I think Bournemouth is in there as well. So, it is... I agree with you. Look, I think that we should win the next couple of games. Now, this is this is my only thing on it. YouTubers, keep it up, football please. 10 likes, yeah, give it. Look guys, just smash on that like. It's absolutely free. It's absolutely free, doesn't cost you a thing, and it really does help out the channel. So this is my thing, right, about us, is that we see these next 10 games, right, and I almost feel like we go into this learnt thing, right? Is that I'm from a time whereby you'd have these games and you'd go, we're going to win these next 10 games, right? Bobby, you're right. We've got Wolves, Palace, Bournemouth. Palace, for me, we should beat them. But this is my sort of mindset on it, right? Is that I'm from an era whereby we get to these run of games, right? Like Palace, etc. And we'd go, these are winnable games, right? And I think we still suffer from that as a fan base. If we were consistently finishing top 2 or 3, I'd say to you, you've got no issue. And I think you're probably right. But we're not that team yet. We're not that team yet. And I almost think that it's a bit of a learnt thing that from the past. And and my brain does exactly the same thing, right? Because of this learnt thing, I go into these 10 games and then I go, oh yeah, these games are easy to win, right? But then I go, well, we're not that side anymore. Like, we're not that side. But the question for me is, can we be that side again? Can we be that team that can do that? Bobby, we should do it, mate. We should absolutely 100% win these games. We're not that team, and we're not consistent. So I think that as much as I would absolutely love to prescribe to that, and hopefully, Bobby, you're right, I just see us as being inconsistent, and I don't know. Stephanie says playing Wolves twice in December. I think that does help. Don't sleep on Wolves. They're fighting for their lives. So, I just don't think any game is a given right now. Stephanie says, old saying, take one game at a time. And this is where I'm at on it. This has been my mantra all season. Take each game as it comes. If it's good enough for Fergie, it's good enough for me. That's what, people think that Fergie used to just think that he was going to win. The ethos of the old team, and again, I do hark back to the good old days, not because I'm a fan who's just like, back when, but you have to take lessons from the past, right? And Fergie used to take each game. The old team with Keane, and he says it himself, is that they used to play each game. So you'd win a game and you'd forget about it. You'd go on to the next game. You'd go on to the next game. Just because you won. This is probably the ultimate testament to why we were so good. As Bobby says there, well, one game a week, we got to play each game like an FA Cup final. Exactly. And that's testament to the mentality of why this team was so good. You'd win a league, and Keane used to say, and what I love about Keane is he said that it was his job. It was his job, and he wanted to do the job the best he can. And they all said, you can enjoy your cups and your wins after you've finished the game, right? But when you're playing the game, it's on to the next one. We used to win leagues and we'd forget about the leagues. It would be, the league is now done, next season, and they were winners. They used to take every game as it came. And famously, Roy Keane said, I think super chat, well, others will too, but no one does it. You should use Twitch, will benefit you more. Look, thank you for the support, my friend. As I say, to this day, it blows me away when people support the channel. I can only thank you. I should probably use Twitch. I might start to use that as well. But look, mate, I generally cannot thank you enough for putting in super chats. It blows my mind that people are prepared to do that for the channel. And look, I appreciate you, and thank you so much, really, for supporting the channel. So, as Bobby says, we've got to take each game as it comes. It's really, really important. And as Roy Keane famously said, he said that when we won the European Cup the first time around, he doesn't consider that he won the trophy because he was injured. No, he was banned and he didn't play the final. And he basically famously said that, I didn't play in the final, so I don't really consider it a trophy that I won, despite the fact that when we played Juventus in the semi-final, he was monumentally responsible for winning that game, for bringing us back into the game. If it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have won the game. He never saw it as he influenced one game. He saw it as, if he's not playing in that final, then he basically didn't have any impact on the team. So, absolute legend. And that's how we need to be. Stephanie says, rivals feared us back then, even if we played poorly. We were behind. We usually pulled something out of the bag. And it's true. It's true. We absolutely did. So look, we've got to, on Monday night, we have to 100%, no excuses. It doesn't matter if you've got injured players. We deemed in the summer that the squad was good enough. The ownership deemed that we didn't need any players. So therefore, we've got no excuses. I believe we have, but look, we've got no excuses. So we've got to win that game. I do expect us to win the game. I want us to be comfortable. I don't think that we will be comfortable, but I think it is a win. Merison Cow says, holy, holy, United, holy, holy, hup, hup, hup. Well, so look, other thing I wanted to talk about was what's come out is basically this squad cost new thing that's going to replace PSR. It's interesting. Now, I've seen people, I would have loved to have come on, particularly today, and kind of explained it a little bit more. I've seen a lot of people celebrating this, like we've won something. I'll go through it at a sort of like high level, not because you people don't understand, but it's something that I think is worth talking about. YouTuber says, sir, you should think big and you would definitely be successful in life. You dare to dream, mate. Look, as far as I'm concerned, mate, I've already won. I've got an amazing wife, amazing kids. I've already won in life. I can't ask for more than that. I'm not about money. I'm not about possessions. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm amazingly fortunate in life to have, a family. There are many people in life that don't have that. Many people in life, who right now are struggling to eat. It's not the best time. Two Bears Pro says hello from Bavaria in Germany. Hello, hope you're doing extremely well this morning. There are many people in life who struggle. Don't have a family. Don't have kids. Not just that. It's really, really difficult time. So the fact that I've got like healthy children, I'm safe, warm, I've got many, I am healthy. Your health is your true wealth. Exactly. And if you listen, there's this, I saw this thing, right, where they interviewed like older people, right, and I mean like 60s, right, and they asked them, if you could change one thing in your life, what would you do, right? Or if you could go back and change a thing, right? And basically, one said I'd love to go to Australia. One said, I would love to have done, would have loved to have, spent more time with my wife. I should have had kids. Not one person spoke about money. Not one person spoke about assets, because people, as much as you need money to do things in life, that's not, health, wealth, like your health is wealth. Family is important as well. Palace, welcome, my friend. Sorry I'm late, JB. Look, mate, we never apologize. Been out and about recently, mate. Palace are doing it extremely well, my friend. um you know um don't sleep on Palace this season, my friend, but I hope you are extremely well, as well, my friend. So, so look, let's talk about squad costs. We've got a load of time this morning. So I wanted to talk about this. By no means at the moment I'm an expert on it. I do need to read up a little bit more, but I'll give you this higher level on it. So squad cost, what does it actually mean? So basically, to sum it up, from 2026-27, a club can spend 85% of their football related income on their squad costs, right? So there was another vote that happened, which was to do with a salary cap. So basically, it was basically based on the lowest team and their squad cost and that sort of stuff, and that was voted down. And I get that, but the squad cost ratio was voted in by, I can't remember how many clubs, but it was the majority of the clubs. So what it basically means is that you can spend 80% of your income on your squad, minus costs, right? So what that basically means is you minus things like your wages, your agent fees, and your amortization of your spend, right? So what it basically means is, well, when you buy a player and you spread that over 5 years and it's amortized, and amortization, says Cuhna, Maguire, and Shesko out injured for the Everton game. Yes, I know, and it Maguire I'm not bothered about. Shesko I am, and Cuhna I am. So when we talk about amortization, as you all know by now, your own strength is your biggest strength, not your family. I disagree. I think you need both. There are things in my life that I've gone through that I've had to get myself through, but I couldn't have got through life without my family. They are my safe place. They are my safe space. And I'm not just talking about the family at home. I'm very, very fortunate to have my mum, my dad still here. I've got aunties and that sort of stuff. And look, I don't disagree in some respects that you have to be, at times you got to be your own strength. But family to me, mate, is everything. I consider this community like that as well. And without that support of you guys coming on here and giving me the time of day, you know. So look, Bobby's right. So look, let's get back to the football. So look, 2026, 85% of the revenue, minus the wages, agent fees, which we pay a lot of that, and amortization, right? So amortization, as you all know by now, basically means, look, you need to, when you buy players and you basically, that contract over the 5 years, right? So that doesn't include your wages on players. So what that basically means is that every single year. So if, for example, we've still got 500 million, I think it's about 500,000 to pay out on to clubs for the signings. You have to take that off, right? So let's just say you start from a net position of nil, and then let's just say you spend, I don't know, 200 million over the 5 years. So every year, you don't pay that 200 and take that off. You only pay the amount that you pay in that year. So what that means is if you sign, say it's over a 5 year, you pay 40 million a year. So you take that 40 million off of the income that you earn, and you've got your total spend. So what does that leave for us? So basically, it means that at the moment, does it free up a lot of that cost? Yes, because the 500 million that we owe, if it's not owed in a single year, then it does, it does mean that we free up that cash. There's a buffer. There's an allowance of 30% on the 85, but using it does come with a levy and does come with a tax. So what that means, and this is the bit whereby I need to read up a little bit more on this, is that you can't use the 30% straight away, and there are some rules around that 30%. But if you do use it, there is a sort of levy or a tax on that. And you're not just free to overspend. So you can't just say, look, we're going to overspend and that's it. If you overspend, then I think in the same season you get a deduction in points. Now, what does that mean for us? So it is a little bit more complex than that. And when I get back home and we talk about it again, we can go a little bit more in depth. Now, what I've seen on this, as I've seen other channels bigger than mine start saying that we are cash kings. 4102, hello my friend. Basically saying, oh, we're going to be rich. We're going to be cash kings. Now, United does make a lot of cash, right? We do make a lot of cash. Does it change our financial position? No, it doesn't. It doesn't change our financial position. I tell you, in my opinion, where it does change our position, or where it will hurt the Glazers. Does it change our financial position? No, it doesn't. Right? It gives us more headroom for PSR, right? So it gives us more headroom. Also, what I forgot to say as well is with this squad cost thing, it's 85%. If you are in the Champions League or European, that drops down to 70%. So if you are in European competition, if we are, not only will the wages increase, but additionally the cap is lower, so you lose 15%. Damon says, hi guys, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I like that. Someone who is happy. It is a happy Sunday. Sunday. It is pouring down here, but it has stopped right now and the sun has come out. So there is a 70% limit if you are in European football. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean? Initially, in my opinion, what it means is that, for example, at the moment, our PSR headroom is about 105 million because of the losses that we've made. We lost 36 million, so we could spend 64 million. With this squad cost, potentially that could increase to say 150 million, right? People will say that's fantastic, right? But it still doesn't change the fact we don't have the money, right? We lost 36 million. It doesn't change the fact that we don't have the money there. Just because our income is high, it doesn't mean that we've got more money. For all these people that are going, oh, we've got loads of money, but it doesn't matter. If you still spend a bunch of money and you still make a loss, you can't suddenly pluck money out of your butt. All it basically means right now for us is that we could spend more. But if there's no money to spend, it doesn't matter. The Premier League could say you can spend £1 billion, right? But if you're not allowed to put money into this team, which Sir Jim won't, and which the Glazers don't, you can't funnel cash in. And they could say you could spend £1 billion. We don't have £1 billion. We simply don't have it. You know, we could, you could argue that you could buy more players and put it on the credit card, but you still have to amortize these players. You still have to have the money there to do it. We don't. We don't have the money there. So the only way that we can buy these players is to put ourselves into more debt. Now we are bringing that age of the squad down. We are, and I do think this is where Ineos have got ahead of it, is that they are bringing the squad cost down. So Sancho will go. I think Casemiro will go as well. Maguire will probably go, or the wages will be reduced. So our wage bill will be reduced. So again, you know, we'll be able to spend that cash, but we still have £500 million on fees we haven't paid. So we're still in the same position. All it means is that, you know, hopefully when that squad costs reduce, we will then see the benefit of this. But right now we're still made a loss, and the only way for us to really spend on this team is basically to get into more debt. Now, what this has done as well is it's basically closed off this loophole whereby you can't sell yourself a hotel, right? You can't just bring in cash. So an owner cannot just pump cash into the club. You can't sell hotels to people. You can't sell your women's team to make cash. So it has closed all of that off. JB, any news on Chelsea and Sheety, especially with their financial dealings and transfers, etc. Chelsea will take a couple of points hit, but it's not going to be that big. Chelsea, I believe, are going to take, I don't know how many points it is, but it's only going to be about 5 points. Look, the City thing is going to rumble on. The result could be out now. I suspect that City are going to get away with it in some respects. If you look at the first court thing that they won was to do with basically around sponsorship, right? They won that, so it's not looking good. I don't think City are. I think City will get away with it. At most, they'll get 10 points. I don't think that. I think that they're going to get away. I think I'll be very surprised. It might even go underneath the radar because there'll be such uproar from the Premier in terms of the Premier League clubs that it could even go underneath the radar. So, you know, I think those who think that they're going to get charged with like 105, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. I don't trust. I don't trust the judicial, and it's not legal, but I don't trust the sport of like arbitration because they're not. They're not. It's not legal. It's not. You know. It's not full of lawyers. So I don't think that that's going to go anywhere either. So I think City are going to be fine. Yeah. So let me read this, and then I'll tell you why I think there will be I think where this could hurt the Glazers. Damon says, "Is there?" Oh, I did miss the one before. Damon says we are frying here in the UAE, screeching hot here. Nice, nice, nice. Is there room for Xerxes and Cunha's absent? Yes, yes, 100%. Yes, yes. We are going to utilize this squad because we have to. We have to. We will utilize this squad because we absolutely have to. 100%. If Mount is injured, if Mainu didn't train, so if Mainu's out, Mason Mount can only play like half a game. Xerxes is going to play. Xerxes will play. We've also got Lacey in the team as well. We've also got Fletcher. So I think that Xerxes could start on Monday. I think Xerxes will play a part. If Mainy's fit, Mainy will play a part. So I think Xerxes is going to get his shot. Watching in my local pub, usually a good atmosphere. Damien, I completely forgot about Xerxes. Great shout. I'll be watching the home game. Starts at 12 o'clock here. Now, where do I think that where do I think this squad cost could hurt Glazers and Ineos? Right. There's I'll tell you where it's going to hurt them is because they don't have an excuse not to spend money. And what I mean by that is that if they're, you know, from a conceptual perspective, right, our headroom is going to be raised, the squad wages are going to be reduced. They've got no excuse. They've got no excuse. What will be the excuse? Also, what will be highlighted even more is the debt, because the debt will cripple that spend. So let's just say our revenue 680 million, right? If we had no debt and amortization was low, let's just pretend for a second we are revenue 640 million, right? Our wages cost is 200 million, right? We could spend 440 million pounds on players, but the debt is going to be obvious and crippling at some point. So this is going to highlight the debt. It's going to put pressure on them to spend money. So whilst right now I think this squad cost is not going to really do a lot for us on the basis that we're still in debt, we need to bring the wages down, agent fees, ridiculous. But the plus side for me is that this is going to hurt the Glazers. This is going to hurt Ineos. This will show the lack of spending. So it is it's not all bad. So just before I go, what have we got? Let's have a look. I'll be watching home games. Wave Cutter says, Damon, at least you're getting 3 p.m. kickoff games. That's true. The UAE is Man City and Arsenal. Gotta go out, see you all soon. Great show. Thank you, Stephanie, legend as always. 4-hour difference. Yes, I know. Used to live there. Saudi is Newcastle. Qatar is PSG. Abu Dhabi is Man City. Yeah. There's no takeover talk either. I think we have mentioned that in the past. So you know. But guys, look. I'm gonna go. Amazing show as always. I will do an evening show tonight, hopefully. I don't know what time the Arsenal game is on. I might do a watch along for Arsenal against Spurs. I think it'll be a fascinating game. You know, hoping that both teams draw, because if the thing is, we need to be in that conversation. I agree with you. If Arsenal and Tottenham draw, it really does help us out. So 4:30 Wave Cutter, thank you. So I might do that game. I might do that game because it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating, and hoping that it can be a draw. You never know. You never know. Devin says, I'm probably the only United supporter here in Abu Dhabi. Look, mate, we need one. We need one, my friend. You know, once we have one supporter, mate, you know, let's just say that United do well again. You know, you're gonna see more and more and more. I guarantee those blue shirts will start to turn red, as they always do. You know, Bobby, thank you, my friend. So I will be back probably this afternoon. This evening I probably will do the Arsenal game, hopefully, if I can find time. Great show, thanks. I'm proud to be a Red. I was 2 when I went in August. Amazing. I love you, sir. I'm really like you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, always be proud to support a club. We've gone through bad times. Let's hope that there are more good times ahead. Um, and look, we've got an opportunity. We've got an opportunity to finish fourth. Let's see. Let's see what Arsenal can do today, guys. Look, thank you so much for being here. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the support. It still blows me away that you guys support the channel. You guys are fantastic. And again, you know, I really appreciate you and the conversation and the chat. I'll always say this: we are the best community on here. Pure unfiltered truths. Exactly, mate. What we do on here is we are logical. We just talk. We're just real fans. Arsenal nil, hopefully 0-0. I would love that. Love it, love it, love it. So, guys, legends, I'll be back. Hopefully, I can do the Arsenal game. If not, I'll be back this evening. You guys are legends, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.